All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think we all have a little too much experience with, and that is difficult personalities at work. Dealing with those coworkers who, maybe test your patience a little.
Absolutely.
So we've got 7 great tips from our source material today,
Okay.
and we're going to really unpack how to deal with these coworkers.
Ever had one of those people that makes you wonder how they even got hired in the first place?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is this from a different planet where, collaboration means constant criticism?
I think it's important to preface this by saying that the word difficult is very subjective.
Yeah.
It's truly about the behavior, not about the person as a whole.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because what might seem difficult to one person, might just be someone who needs constant validation. Or it might be passion to another person.
Exactly.
But if their actions are disrupting your work life, then it's something that we need to learn how to handle. Exactly. And that leads us to identifying what actually makes someone difficult to work with. It's not just about annoying quirks or pet peeves, but behaviors that really disrupt teamwork and create a negative environment.
Right.
Our source mentions 3 main categories: toxic, self-centered, and uncaring.
Okay, so those are pretty clear cut. So toxic. I'm imagining like the gossipy, backstabbing type.
Yes.
Loves drama, thrives on it.
Spot on. And
And-
someone who's self-centered, that would be the person who's constantly interrupting or stealing credit, always putting their needs first.
Got it.
And then you have the uncaring type who's just oblivious to the impact of their actions on others.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like they lack that basic empathy chip.
Okay.
Okay, so we've identified the beast. Now what? I'm guessing from the source that communication is key.
Absolutely. But it's more nuanced than just talking it out.
Okay.
The source highlights clear, direct, and friendly communication.
Okay, now how do you stay friendly when someone is constantly throwing shade or being, really difficult to work with?
It's about mastering that art of assertive yet respectful communication. So instead of saying, "Stop interrupting me,"
Yeah.
you could say, "I hear your point, but I would appreciate it if you would let me finish my thought."
Oh, that's good because it acknowledges what they're saying.
Exactly.
It also holds your ground.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. But I think sometimes even the best communication just can't bridge the gap. And that's where boundaries come in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Boundaries are essential, especially when you're dealing with someone who consistently pushes limits. It's not about being rude.
Right.
It's about protecting your time, your energy, and really your sanity.
Yeah, so it's not selfish to say like, hey, I'm swamped right now. Can we circle back later? Or I prefer to keep our conversations, work focused.
Precisely. Boundaries define what you're willing to tolerate, and that includes your emotional well-being.
Okay, so that leads us to what feels like the Jedi Master level skill here. And that's emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Like not letting these difficult people, push our buttons
Yeah.
and send us into a rage.
Have you ever heard of the amygdala hijack?
I've not.
So it's essentially when our emotional center, the amygdala, takes over.
No.
And we react impulsively often in ways that we regret later.
Oh, so like when you fire off that really like snarky email
Exactly.
and then instantly regret it and wish you could unsend it.
Exactly. Emotional intelligence helps us recognize those triggers and choose more thoughtful response.
Okay.
And simple techniques like deep breathing or reframing the situation can make a world of difference.
Okay, so breathe, stay calm. And remember, professionalism is your lightsaber.
Yes.
It's like no matter how tempting it is to fight fire with fire, maintaining your composure
Yeah.
is going to serve you so much better.
Professionalism is about acting with integrity even when others aren't. So think of it this way. If someone sends you a rude email,
Yeah.
a professional response would be to address the issue calmly and factually, perhaps suggesting a face-to-face conversation
Okay.
to resolve the matter.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than like firing back a sarcastic reply,
What?
which I'll admit is usually my go-to.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Okay, so we've talked about communication. We've talked about boundaries and keeping our cool. This next tip from the source really threw me for a loop.
Okay.
Collaboration with these people. It feels a bit like trying to teach a cat to fetch.
Yeah.
Like, is that even possible?
Collaboration isn't always easy, especially with those who seem determined to make it difficult.
Right.
But the source suggests discernment.
Okay.
There are times when it's worth seeking common ground, maybe focusing on shared goals or objectives, but there are also times when maintaining a healthy distance is the best approach.
Okay, so it's like choosing your battles wisely.
Exactly.
So someone's constantly undermining you or like
Yeah.
actively trying to sabotage your work, then maybe collaboration isn't the right answer.
Right.
But if it's more of like a personality clash, maybe you can find some middle ground.
Exactly. And finally, if all else fails and you're feeling overwhelmed or just at your wit's end,
Don't suffer in silence.
great, reach out for support. Talk to your manager, HR, or even a trusted colleague. Sometimes just having someone to vent to or offer a fresh perspective can make all the difference.
Okay, so I think what we've learned here is that navigating these difficult personalities is a skill.
Hmm.
And like any skill, it can be developed.
Absolutely.
And it starts with identifying those challenging behaviors, mastering clear and assertive communication, setting firm boundaries, and staying cool under pressure.
And don't forget the importance of emotional regulation.
Right.
Those difficult people can be masters at triggering our amygdala.
Oh, they are so good at it. It's like their superpower. But here's a final thought for you all. These strategies aren't just for the workplace.
That's a great point.
Think about your personal life. How might applying these tips help you navigate those tricky dynamics with family, friends, or even that, shall we say, opinionated neighbor?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yes,
let's be real, difficult personalities exist everywhere. So go forth, armed with these new skills, and may your interactions be ever in your favor. Thanks for tuning in to another deep dive. We'll see you next time.